That
Yeah.
actually, you know, if we're approaching our partners to say we've got a bit of a feeling about this, then that's not going to do anyone any harm, is it?
No, not at all. It almost sounds like it's actually improved multi-agency working. Would that be fair to say, in information sharing?
I think so, and I certainly hope so. And that's like the ongoing long-term goal, really, is to just maintain that and keep that at the top of our agenda.
It's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. My next question was about how the support that Turning Point offers to families adheres to the principles of the early help assessment model, which is one of the pledges within the strategy. Can you talk me through the journey of, well, actually, it's an individual that comes to you to receive support, but how, what's the journey of the family when that individual comes to you?
Yeah, and you're right. So obviously somebody comes into treatment and it's that individual that we're working with. It's so some people might think, well, then we don't work with the family, but actually right from the beginning of somebody coming into treatment, they are assessed as part of that first sort of meeting with us. And right from the beginning, we're exploring with them who lives with them, what children are in the household, what support networks they've got around them. And so right from the beginning, we should have a picture in terms of what that individual's family and wider sort of community, if you like, are around them. And then when there is a child identified within the family, there is a second process where they would complete a children's assessment. And that's really sort of padding out that information. So we're gaining more about what is going on for the child. Are they at school age? Who's their health visitor? All of those kind of things. So it gives us right from the beginning actually a very clear picture of what's going on for that individual and how that individual's substance misuse might or might not impact their family and the children.
That's brilliant, thank you. And I know we've talked about this before, but how then do you ensure that where issues are highlighted or where the children are being impacted negatively, how do you ensure those needs are met for the children?
So for us, that's about that multi-agency working. So obviously where we have concerns, and that could be quite low level concerns, or we're getting some feedback from other partners that the children perhaps aren't going to school or something like that, then it's about kind of understanding all of that and bringing in the other sort of partners to work together to support the family in moving forward. And so we play an important part of that, because we're looking at, you know, just in general, what does substance misuse mean to a parent, you know? And so we know that parents can function and can do really well, but actually there are little things as well that go along with that that can impact, and you can make changes to support the parent with that. So you know, examples of, you know, how are they budgeting and things like that. So it's all of the little things that actually perhaps you don't think of when you're a substance misuse worker, because you're dealing with the drugs or you're dealing with alcohol, but it's what do the drugs or the alcohol, what do they do and how do they impact a family and a child's life. And so by bringing in our partners and the team around the family, actually we're supporting that better outcome for the young person or child within the family.
Thank you. So obviously, as I said, you're presented with an individual who's accessing support or wanting to access support, but you're delivering a whole family response. How do you overcome any barriers to working with a family when you're presented with an individual, and what are the benefits in taking a whole family approach as opposed to just supporting the individual?
So in terms of benefits for supporting in terms of that whole family approach, is that actually I think outcomes for that family are going to be much better, because you're considering what the impact is for the family. And actually, like I said, if you're thinking about how some small steps in somebody's substance misuse can actually impact and can be changed to make better outcomes, then that's positive in itself. I think in terms of the individual, what's really important is that if you've got a family and you've got things to work for and actually you're facing that, then hopefully your motivation to change is also higher, and that actually the outcomes in terms of your own personal substance misuse can be positively effective. So I think, you know, it's a bigger picture, if you like, because you've got the kind of individual's goals in terms of getting out of treatment, not being dependent on a substance to kind of manage their life, but also what that means then for the individual and the family, is that it's better outcomes for the family and the children, because if you're not using substance, obviously, then there's going to be much better outcomes longer term. And I may have forgotten what the beginning of that question was.
No, I think you've covered it. It was about what are the challenges and what are the benefits of addressing whole family. So yeah, thank you very much for sharing that, Andrea. And then my final question is, do you have any advice for organisations looking to implement the pledges within the early help strategy?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think what's important is actually looking at your service and what your service needs, and thinking about how you achieve that, and whether that be some sort of bespoke training, anything that actually gets people engaged with the pledges and the strategy. Because actually, when the outcomes and working together, that's, you know, the best possible way to function, isn't it, as individual services. If we can bring everyone together, then for me and for our team, I think the outcomes are so much better. So yeah, use your peers, use your co-workers and your partner agencies, and yeah, go for it.
Brilliant. Thanks ever so much. Really
No
appreciate your
problem.
time. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Esther. Bye.